Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? Good, I hope. Oh, I keep being crooked. Oh well. Good morning, Sue. So nice to see you. That's for sure. I have so much to share with you guys this morning. So much. So how are things in Oklahoma this morning, Miss Sue? Hi, Kathy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are about to get painty. Good morning, Carm. So, Carm, I have your IKEA paper as my underpaper today. I got lots of paint on it yesterday, and it will continue to grow and grow and grow. I love that. Thank you so much. It feels it's kind of fibrous. It's kind of crazy, but it'll be perfect for, creating art papers. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that this morning. Good morning, Donna. How are you? So if you are brand new here, if you would follow and like Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then please ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Corbiere-Scott. It's the greatest group in all the land. I'm just going to tell you, everyone is kind and supportive and encouraging and creative like nobody's business. So it's just a great place to be. Oh, Kathy, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That makes my heart happy. So I have a couple things to share this morning. Hey, Nance. So, a couple things. So, like I was mentioning, Carmen, if you are an art journaler or if you just love art, we've been talking about Hey, Beth, haven't seen you in forever and a day. We've been talking a lot about creating our own art papers where we will create art with art. That's really used in my Inspire Your Heart with Art journaling class, but I kind of dabble with the concept in my other classes too. So Carmen was at IKEA and she bought something and it was wrapped in this fibrous, it's not tissue paper. I don't know. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter because it's just cool. So it's kind of like newsprint, but it's more fibrous than that. And it has just a funky feel. So just be kind of on the lookout when you're out and about, when you're just going through your day-to-day life, that there might be something cool that you could add to your art journal backgrounds. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Catherine. So I got an order from an Etsy shop yesterday, and I wanted to share with you the stuff the thing I got was amazing, but, and I should have brought that down for you to see. But anyway, here's all the little bits of washi tape, right, that things were wrapped in, and then there's a handmade with love sticker, and then there's a little thank you sticker. And you know what? I will share with you what I got on Thursday because it's just amazing. This it's called, the Etsy shop is, she's also on Instagram, is called the Hanukkah Maker. Excuse me, the Hanukkah Home. And she does string art that is so amazing. So amazing. But anyway, all that to blah, 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 to say that I save all of these little bits and bobs and I will add them into my art in some kind of way. I don't know just yet how, but I will. So just kind of have a Ziploc bag that you keep those things in, or a bowl or something that you can just pull it, when you're getting ready to do a little art journaling session, you can pull those things out and just, for me, it's a couple of things. It's pretty to look at, and it reminds me of something cool that I got and something, that I was supporting another maker and, anyway, and it has lots of cool visual interest. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about my bouquet this morning. Look at it. So this all came from my yard, with the exception of the purple flowers. Those came from my neighbor's yard. Their beautiful purple sage was hanging over my fence, and so I went out there with some scissors and snipped a few, because look at it. Isn't it beautiful? So just think, when you're creating art, inspiration is everywhere. And would you stop it with these zinnias? Look at that. I'm just madly in love with it. And these, I told you, my Gerber daisies bloom in all different colors. I have some other zinnias here. Anyway, it just sits on my desk and inspires me all day long. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, because today's project, we are going to be making something, we're going to be creating on a, nature is the best artist. You're right. You're right. It is beautiful, isn't it, Sue? I'm telling, it just inspires me all day long. So we're going to make something where we tape our piece down because it's going to get pretty wet. And so I have a couple of options. I mean, some people have hardboards, and that's cool, but if you don't happen to have those, I want you to know that this is just a piece of thick cardboard. So you could use this to tape your piece down, or for people who go on car trips, look at this. I got this it was in school stuff, but I found it on Amazon. So it's a clipboard, which I use a clipboard all the time. But look, it opens up, and you can put like your pad of paper in here and a pencil, or pieces that you wanted to watercolor, and like a flat set of watercolors, right? You could do all kinds of things in here. And like I said, it has a clipboard. So you could use this to tape things off too. Anywho, so that's that. So I want to share today's brand new art is named after my friend Shari, who's just about the most lovely person in all the land. She is a person who is, I'm drawn to people who are worker bees, who are very capable, who can handle anything. And I will just tell you, Shari is that kind of a person. But she's also kind and sweet and has a strong spirit and is sure of who she is, and is just the best kind of friend. She's just absolutely lovely. So I started to draw these dahlias because that's a goal for next spring. I want to grow some dahlias. And that was kind of the whole inspiration for Shari. So this one is drawn in my old school way of drawing, where I did a slimline, an A2, an independent piece of art, at least 2 sentiments. But this time I included a banner because why not, right? So I have this one printed on watercolor paper, but I have another one that I printed on watercolor paper and I cut apart so that I can do some individual creating on here. So now I just have regular old Scotch masking tape, and that's what I'm going to adhere my paper to my piece of cardboard, my board, so that I can, so it won't buckle as much. I mean, you know, I've shown you all of my tricks for breaking the fibers, and I'll do those again. But because this one's going to be pretty wet, I thought it might be a good idea to tape it down to a board. So I'm just going to do that. That wasn't a very good piece. That is the dilemma, isn't it, with peeling paint or peeling tape? Oh, thank you so much, Jan, and good morning. How are you this morning? How is Wisconsin? Carol, is Denver cooler? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I think every place is cooler than Arizona right now. Good morning, Laura. I started my banana peel water yesterday. So I will be watering my plants with it, but like probably by the weekend, right? I just need to give it 3 to 4 days. That's what I'm kind of remembering that you said. Oh, Arizona is beautiful too. You know, we've had all of this rain, and I think that's why my neighbor's purple sage is just blossoming like crazy. And it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. And very Arizona, you know. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a brush, a big brush, and just start to really wet my whole piece. '80s. Can you imagine? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to wet this down because I really want, remember a little while ago we created a background, and then we kind of grew it up. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. So I'm going to use my Karen, whatever in the heck markers. So I have a pale, I should have done this first. Okay, this is Soft Peach 1, Soft Peach 2, Pale Pink. Those are nice together, aren't they? And Rose Pink. Okay, then I have Cerise. So let's see, what does that? So I'm feeling like I want to add a little bit of that. And then kind of move it around. Move it around with my brush. I'm just kind of do some, yeah, see, we're getting dry down here. So this is another technique that's going to take a little bit of time, but I just feel the results are going to be so pretty. So I'm just going to get some base color. So I just want to do this watery wash, but do you see I'm doing it very painterly, right? I'm going off the edge of the flowers. I'm going to take my paper towel and kind of dab off there. Not completely, just enough to make me feel better. And then I'm going to take, let's try some greens on here. I particularly love this olive green, but I want to go, let's see what curry. I kind of like that better, I think. I want to create a background, but I want it to have this tone, but I want it brighter too. So, good morning, Maureen. How are you? What else do I have here? I have lime green and apple. So lime green, apple. Let's see how that looks with that. Grass. Maybe I'll start with that lime green. So I'm gonna wet this background back a little bit. And I'm gonna add a little bit of that. And do you see how that automatically makes the pink pop? Because those are beautiful opposites on the color wheel, right? So I'm going to just continue to build my background and my base color on here. Little by little, just keep building it. I mean, you could do this with watercolors. You could just, you could do this. You don't have to use the supply that I'm using. I just happen to think about these and that I hadn't created with them in a while. So pull something out that you haven't created with in a while, And for me, like, this is water-based, so it can be any water-based product, right? It could be Tombow markers, it could be watercolors, it could be whatever you want it to be. So right now it's looking kind of washed out, but I promise we will grow it and grow it and grow it. And you know what? I just keep wiping off on my paper towel, but I need to be wiping off on my beautiful underpaper, building the color there too. So let's bring some more of this lime green here. And now let's see what we have here. We have that apple, so let's try a little bit of that. So let's get that in there. We're going to do the same technique with our flowers. It's just kind of fun to do the background because it's kind of ethereal, And there's nothing exact about it, is there? Not that we should be feeling that way about our flowers either. I got a little bit of that green on my petals, so I can just wipe that off with my brush and then wipe my brush onto my underpaper. Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. That's kind of, oh my gosh, it's like going exactly where I want it to go. Like the background is just starting to frame each one of these flowers. And that's kind of, frame the petals, frame the flowers. I'm just loving that. And then we'll just kind of work that out. I went over my petal again. I got all, overzealous, imagine. Hey, so did anybody watch CBS Sunday Morning this past weekend? There was a story about Robert Weiland, you know, the famous marine painter, the sea life painter. I have just loved him forever, but especially after we lived in San Francisco. My husband worked right across the street from Pier 39, and there was a Weiland mural on the side of the building, and oh my gosh. Like, you know when you like somebody's art, but then when you see it in person, like what it just brings it to life. Like, especially, you know, Weiland stuff I love because his stuff is bigger than life, right? Hello, Sonia. How are you this morning? Well, is it morning where you are, Sonia? I never know where people are from. Anywho. So I just, you know, and I love that he was from Detroit, and I could hear his Detroit accent. And all these years later, he still had it. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And he was just a humble guy, and he has his Weiland Foundation that does such good works. Oh, I just love it. Just love an artist story. So speaking of which, you should all mark on your calendars that this Saturday is our artist study series, art journaling, which is called Let's Get Artsy Apart. And this Saturday's artist that we are going to study is Faith Ringgold, and she is amazing. And so that's a free class held right here on my and Corbiere-Scott Designs Facebook page. And you just need to bring your art journal and whatever that is. If it's I don't care if it's a composition book, I don't care. It doesn't, you know, I'm just all about people making art. It doesn't matter to me what supplies you have. I don't want people to feel like they have to have a certain kind of supply. I mean, not that I deny myself any supplies, but it's my gig, you know? But I just want people to, art should be accessible to everyone. And so, like I said, just bring, it doesn't matter if it's a piece of copy paper, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just bring your substrate, whatever that is, and your artsy supplies. So if you have watercolors, bring those, bring a pencil, bring a waterproof black markers, or excuse me, pen, so that it doesn't, your lines don't bleed with your watercolors. But if you don't have that, we'll figure out a way to work around it. Anyway, like I said, Faith Ringgold. So we will study the artist a little bit and her works, and then we will be inspired by that artist, and then we will create in her, like in honor of her, in our art journals. So please join me this Saturday at 9 o'clock Arizona time. And if you are unable to watch us live, you can always watch in the replay. That is the beauty. This is starting to really take shape. I'm loving it. Like, I feel like, so now let's bring in, I think I want to re-wet a little bit. And I want to come in with just a little bit of this grass green. And look at how deep that looks. But we're gonna blend it out with our Jiggy Jaggy blend, right? Or just pounce, pounce, pounce. Pounce, pounce, pounce. And that's going to really pop those flowers up. And look at the flowers, we haven't even hardly started. We just did their little bit of wash. Right, so now let's come in here. Re-wet here. And just with a little bit. So if you're using watercolors instead, you're just going to do a little line of your next deepest green. So if you don't have a huge palette of watercolors, you can mix a little bit of a deeper green, right? And once you have a little bit of watercolor built up on your brush, wipe it off on your paper towel or your underpaper. Underpaper is the best, I think, because you're creating another piece of art. I know you don't feel like it is, but trust me, it will become amazing. Wet my brush, tap it off. Now I'm going to come in here. Do you see how just this little technique is creating this beautiful painterly background? And that's what, you know, that's what I'm kind of after this morning. I'm wanting, I want it to look like a painting this morning. You know, every day we want something different. Play with the amount of water you have on your brush. There, that's nice. Oh, I'm loving it. Is anybody painting along with me? Or are you just watching? Just little by little, building up that, like nature's outline, you know? I just, think of myself as an ardent observer of life and the things that, you know, surround me. And so, and I want to bring those into the best light possible, right? So I like to dedicate a little time to it. So it's best to not rush these things. Who said, I think it might have been Van Gogh, who said, all good things take time. So I got a little too much green here on these petals, so I'm going to re-wet it with my brush and then dab it off. And hopefully I can get it back to being pink again. Yeah. So I just like to put on some soothing music and then just bring my friends out, which are paints and brushes, and I can get myself into the flow state. And if you don't know what the flow state is it just helps bring your brain to work in a more creative way. Does that make sense? It's a feeling of energized focus and enjoyment, right? So you kind of lose yourself in the process, Like you just get to the, and I find myself doing that sometimes during these classes because I'm so into what I'm doing that I think, oh my gosh, has it been 5 minutes since I said anything? But it's the most lovely place to be, I will just say. And I'm sure that you've all, you know, some people do it with cooking, some people do it with quilting, some people do it with a sport or, there we go. Whatever their thing is, it's the greatest feeling to just get to that flow state. And for me, I find building in slow, deliberate layers of whatever it is, whether it's color or printed material or like collage or what, I just find if I just slow my brain down and just start creating, magic happens. And magic doesn't always have to be a masterpiece, right? Magic can be, what do I want to say? Magic can be what you learn from the session, right? You might hate what you created, but you might hate the end result, but nine times out of 10, I promise you can fix it. You just need to walk away from it a little bit. But you'll have learned so much if you just slow your roll and just really get into the process. Holy smokes, the amount of growth artistically that you can have it's night and day. Okay, okay, I have magenta red, and this one is just all magenta. So let's see what the difference is. I'm feeling like I want to go through and do one. I'm thinking I like just the magenta better than the magenta red, but this one is cerise. So I think I want to come in and do a little bit more building with the cerise maybe, and then come in with a magenta in the same style that we built the greens. Do you know what I mean? Well, watercolor pencils are the best. They're fabulous tools, Carol, because you kind of have the best of both worlds, right? You can use them as a watercolor medium or a colored pencil medium. Or what I love to do is combine them, right? Do watercolor washes and then do all my detail work with the watercolor, with the pencil part. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was a great choice. Oh, and the Melissa art printable. Oh, I love that. I love that one. Okay, so now let's see. I think I'm going to come in here with a little bit more water, and I'm going to kind of wet down my dahlia. And then I'm going to try just deepening the color at the base of all these petals, because that's where the, you know, that's where the shadow would be anyway, right? Where one petal goes underneath another. And it's already starting to feather out really nicely. I love that, but this one wasn't quite wet enough, so I'm going to come in and just pull that out a little bit. Maybe work these out just a little bit. Wet on wet that's a really fun technique to play with. You just have to be open to it being quite free. Do you know what I mean? And and that I think that it works best if you take your time. But I think most art works best if you take your time. Okay, so I'm going to come in and do a little bit more. I love how that just feathers out. I'm loving that. Because it just automatically builds depth. Don't you see we're already getting dark to light, so that's already starting to build form for our petals. Do you see what I'm saying? And remember, turn your paper. It makes all the difference in the world, so that your hand is as comfortable as possible. So let's do this little corner over here. I'm going to turn. And this I got really wet, not meaning to, but we'll let it work for us. I'm just dabbing some more color on there. And come in and just move that color around a little bit. And remember, your brush can kind of act as a sponge. So if you're feeling like you have too much water, just set your brush on your substrate, and you're gonna pull it. It's gonna soak up some water, and you can just wipe that off on your under paper. So Beth, the Karen colors are very concentrated, and that's why I only use them as a watercolor. I never color with just the marker. I never color something just, like I don't color the flower with just the marker. I always include water. And that's the magic, I think. And that's going to make your markers last forever and a day, right? Because you're using so little, because the color is so concentrated. I find that I know my markers will last forever. But even if you're building in a slow, methodical way, the colors of these markers are so rich and so pigmented. Holy smokes. The difference is crazy. I'm digging that. And look at this, is just the same color. This is all this is all cerise, just the one color. I haven't even brought in the second color yet. So I'm gonna wet it. Now I'm gonna tap some more of this color down. And then I love them too, Donna. I just, I find them to be, it's usually one of my go-tos, and I hadn't used them in a while. And so, you know, I'm a firm believer in using what you got. So, and I have a lot of art supplies. And then I get mad at myself if I don't use, if I haven't used something in a while. And so I try really hard to make the rounds of my studio, and pull out old friends here and there. Like that. Ugh! I'm loving it. Look at how pretty that is. So just that slow build. Just really, Hey Jamie, how are you? So now I'm just gonna cover this whole flower. But then when I come in with my marker, I'm just going to concentrate on the base of the petals, right? Just the base of the petals. Because that's where the color will be the darkest, right? We know that just from observation of nature. And I told you, I'm an ardent observer. I can just look at the details of a flower forever. And when you look at when you really look at something like that, you really start to, oh, that's really green in there, or that's yellow, and it looks like it's pink from the surface, you know? So I find, just, you know, Mother Nature, she just always surprises us with all of the depth of what she's created, you know? Ooh, Sonia, so you live in the valley? That's cool. I know, don't you love watercolors? I really like water-based, I mean, I have Copic markers, but I really like, for me, I like the versatility of water-based, water-soluble materials, because I like to move it with water. Maybe it's because I'm a Pisces and want a water, I'm a water sign. So I'm continuing with that jiggy jaggy pouncy blend. And you know, this blend works best with water-based things. Like I said, it doesn't really work with acrylics. Did I lose anyone? Well, I don't know what happened there. That was weird. But I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. Who knows? I think, like, there's so many people using the internet now, because we are still in the middle of a pandemic, right? So I think that so many people are using the internet that it's... Isn't that the truth, Sonia? Only a Zoni would know that. It's so disgusting and miserable, isn't it? It's so funny. I went to a friend's house yesterday and to have a little paint sesh. And you know when you're in the air conditioning for so long and you have the audacity to go outside and you think, oh my gosh, it's just oppressive. Then I just get in my air-conditioned car. Sorry about that. I think I might be getting the hiccups. I hope not. Let's just move that color out. So on Thursday, let's play with another one of my friends, my water-based friends. Let's play with our Distress inks. That's what I'm going to play with this same art printable. I am going on a little trip next week. I think I fly out on Wednesday and I'll fly back on Tuesday. I will be at my parents' house, so I will try to do some pop-in paint parties from there, and it will be just know, like, I don't know exactly what day. I'm going to try and stick with Tuesdays and Thursdays, although it might be Monday, Wednesday. I don't know. Anywho, I'll let you know. I will, I need to work on that today on kind of creating like a tentative schedule. And I will let you know as soon as I know. I just feel like I really want to see my parents. I'm afraid that, you know, what if we get shut down again? I don't want to put that out there in the universe, but it could happen, right? It could happen. So I'm trying really hard to think about, I really want to see them. I really like my parents, and so, you know, it works out well. I think they feel the same about me. Oh, I'm just loving how this is growing. And this is just one color of pink. I haven't even brought in the second shade yet. And the wet on wet is really, there've been so many breakthrough cases. There've been so many, and I just, if we get locked down again, you know, I wouldn't be able to fly to them. And so I'm just taking advantage of being able to see them when I can. Absolutely, Sonia. I will. I will see them as much as possible. That's for sure. These are bleeding so well. I'm loving it. Well, you know, it is a mutual adoration society at my house, at my parents' house. We do all adore each other. That's for sure. Oh, are you, Donna? That's awesome. That is awesome. So I'm going to repost your card today, Donna. Yesterday was just kind of a day. It just, you know, all my big ideas kind of flew out the window. Don't we all have days like that where, you know, have such grand plans and then, you know, life just kind of happens. So I will repost your beautiful creation, and then I will make the announcement that Donna is my guest designer for the month of August. I'm so excited. Her talent knows no bounds. All right, how are we doing on time? Is anyone aware of what time it is? Because I sure am not. All right, taking that. Seriously, look at that. So pretty. Oh, so here's another crazy thing. So I got something from Amazon, and look, it came wrapped in this little piece of paper, and I was like, oh my God, I can totally make art on that. I could make art on it, and then I could paste it down in my art journal. I love that it already has these crazy wrinkles in it. So like I said, art materials are everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So just, you know, be on the lookout. That's for sure. So I need to ponder a little minute. I forgot to mention that everybody needs to have their, have a nice cold drink with you. We must all stay hydrated. That's for sure. I was thinking I don't know if I want the centers of these dahlias to be a different color or, I don't know. So do you remember we had talked about adding another color to help build more form and dimension? So let's go to these flowers, and I have this red lilac. Do you see how that's pretty close, right? So let's add a little bit of that. I'm going to add it to the center, the lower center of these big petals, and see what happens. So I'm just going to add a little bit there. And now I'm going to kind of push it to the center and then tap it out. Oh, mine too. Mine too. That's for sure, Nance. But you know, inspiration is everywhere. My husband hates when I say, I can make something out of that. But isn't that an affliction we all have? So I'm going to, now I think I'm going to go way more to the center, go to the base of my petals with this purple, this red violet. And I have a little bit excess here, so I can pull that up onto some of these like half petals in the drawing. This is like our support group, right? That we all have the same affliction. So this, I am loving that deep, can you see? This deep purpley pink, right? Goes right up to like the lightest bit. Like the center of those petals is almost white. And that's how you create form, right? So we want to go dark, light, dark. And so by doing the base of the petal and then having it go out to almost white, and then where that petal lays on top of another, that will be light, it will be dark again. Sometimes if it's a big petal, we can certainly, and we could on these two, have it go dark, light, dark on each petal by creating just the littlest bit of dark on the end. And by doing that, you create this automatic curve or form to your petals, and that is going to just make your petals just pop even more. We do understand each other. Like when Carmen brought that when she brought this paper from IKEA, I'm sure Rusty, her husband, was like, what? But she was like, my girls are gonna love this. On one of our paint sessions, I brought bamboo skewers newsprint. I mean, nothing costs any money. It's all just like, you know, we talked about making some mark making tools with toothpicks and cardboard, and rubber bands, and you know, I think that's the like I said, making art does not need to cost a lot of money. You just need some time. Just some time. And like I said, even if this was not taped down to this board, turn your paper. You'll see it from a different angle. You'll see it from a whole new perspective. And you'll start to see, I think, you'll start to see areas where like, oh, that's there's kind of a hole there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you'll see spots that need a little more balancing. Good for you, Nancy. Good for you. IKEA paper to the rescue. And I'm telling you, look through your mail. In your mail, you're going to find a plethora of cool stuff that you could make art from. Like right now, I am on a binge of business envelopes that have that, you know, the stuff so you can't see through the center of it, or you can't see into the envelope, the security envelopes, but with a plastic window, that little acetate window. I can do all kinds of stuff with that. Like maybe we'll do that in our art journaling class. So just, I'm telling you, just you'll start to see opportunities to create art all kinds of places. So I'm gonna get this one wet and then just come in with dabs of that purple. And remember, you can blend it and take a bunch of it away if you need to. I'm just loving the depth. And when I think about dahlias, that's kind of what I think about, because their petals are so, there's so much depth to their petals, because number one, they're petals aplenty, right? And there's so much room for depth. And that, you know, and they can be, you guys can't hear the music anymore? That's interesting, because I can still hear it. Oh, I do all kinds of things with those crazy envelopes. I do all kinds of things. Oh, I make them, I use them as frames. I do, you know what? I'll try and do a little a creative sesh with those. And keep turning that paper. Just the addition of this, what is it? Red lilac has taken my flowers to the next level. And I am here for it. That's for sure. Oh, you know what? It's a station from Amazon Music called Classical Focus. I really like it too. So I'm not going for like a blend that is I like that painterly feel. This isn't a photo of a flower, right? It's a painting of a flower. So I like to remind myself of that, you know? Hi, Dawn. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if I could just ask you to all like and subscribe, and hit the bell, because the bell will give you notifications when I go live. And that's a cool thing, so that we're always together, right? There we go, there we go. Look at that. You know what? As I'm doing this, I'm kind of liking the dots though. So maybe I'll kind of go back in with some of those after I'm done with all of this color application. Maybe I'll finish it off with some of those dots of additional color. I'm loving that. And I'm loving the wet on wet process, because your color just kind of feathers out and you get really cool depth in that way. So I hope that you'll all give that a try. Wet on wet. And just take your time. That's the key, I think. And I will start on this biggie. So I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. Some more color in here. Yep, I'm loving it. So pretty. And it just automatically creates that nice form to my petals that I was kind of looking for. And like I said, I dip my brush in my water and then I tap it off on a paper towel. So then I'm just coming in with a damp brush, and that is like that's your friend. You want that, just that damp brush blend when it comes to water-based products, I think. But you know, you do you. But I will tell you, contrast is your friend when it comes to any kind of creating. You want a nice contrast between one object and the other. You want a little bit of white, you want a little bit of black. Those things, those colors are going to help all of the others pop and going to create that contrast that your eye wants to see. Yep, see, this one was dry and I put the dots of color on, and I'm not liking it as much as when I'm doing it wet on wet. So if I come in wet, and I come in, look at how pretty those that feathering of color is. I love that. And just the contrast that you build from one color to the next within these petals. The contrast of leaving a little bit white. Everything doesn't have to be colored all the way. It makes such a difference. Making it aesthetically pleasing to your eye, you know. Okay, it looks like it's time for me to sign off 5 minutes ago. Whatever. Anyway, I adore you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I appreciate every minute you get to spend with me and I get to spend with you. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Go out and have an amazing day. And I will see you back here on Thursday. Talk to you soon. Bye.